retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Yeah, we ran out of patience. Falling off with the cold hard hatred. I can feel the vibration. Feet in the streets, it's a new sensation. I wanna break faces on the pavement. I wanna make greatness look complacent. Adrenaline awakened, I can taste it. We can make an impact, grab and then take it. Like a disease, to their knees, pain for their disease. Spread into the streets. It's time to make them bleed. 'Cause we just want retribution. Let's go light up the darkness. Make true of an empty promise. Flip cards into weak and harmless. Take to the streets and turn them to a mosh pit. 'Cause we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution.
Welcome back, lads. I hope you're ready for some big progress today. I think the next big step for us in terms of progression is going to be the fusion crafting core. Now, this looks pretty scary, but we've actually done most of it already. The hardest parts are going to be the terrestrial artifact and the resonant cell frame. Now, that's another horrifying looking recipe, and this time it kind of is. There are a few things on here that we don't have automated, and the first one is a pulsating mesh. The second one is an ender electron tube, and the third one is cubic boron nitride, as well as moonstones. So we need to go on a little bit of a rabbit hole to unlock these and optimize some things along the way. So join me today as I work towards draconic fusion. So first up in the horrifying resonant cell frame is going to be the cubic boron nitride, a simple chemical process from hexagonal boron nitride, which is crystallized from the solution, which is reacted from boric acid and ammonia. Ammonia is just nitrogen and hydrogen, and boric acid is just diborane and water. Diborane is any molten boron with any hydrogen. So I'm going to piggyback off our existing calcium sulfate setup and make this wall even uglier. So we're off to a great start so far. We actually have already set up the line, and as you can see, it is very simple. We have a nitrogen collector in the wall, which just slowly produces nitrogen. We use the excess hydrogen from our electrolytic separator for our calcium sulfate line to feed the hydrogen for two chemical reactors. The first one is the ammonia production, which appears to be our bottleneck because nitrogen is our bottleneck. And then we have boron, molten boron to diborane, to boric acid, to boron nitride, crystallizing out to hexagonal boron nitride, and pressurizing to cubic boron nitride, which really for us at the moment only has one use, and that's the resonant cell frames. So that was pretty easy. What's next? I think next on the list is probably going to be setting up some way of getting mysterious combs, which I believe are just ender princesses. And it looks like I have an ender princess of pristine stock and an ender drone. So I think I really can just get to producing bee stuff. I'll be honest, I've never worked with bees before. And okay, there is a quest for it, the apiary. Oh, that's really easy. All right, well, let's make the apiary and we'll get a nice quest. And then we need to make the centrifuge, which is also very simple. And if I'm not crazy, I think that it really is as simple as doing this. Oh boy, sky's obstructed and no flowers. Well, what do these bees need for flour? And I guess we have to expose the sky. Oh, it died. Well, that's not useful. I guess we have to go to the end and figure this out. Oh no, I got my stock back. That's handy. So let me do a bit of Googling and figure out how to do this. So I went to the nether and I got an ender queen, an ender princess, and an ender drone. I have actually no idea if this is how that works. I think I'm being stung. That's what's making that horrible noise. But that looks like it's working. So I speed it up. It goes faster. And I get hit more. That's nice. Oh, and I do already have a mysterious comb. That's cool. Right, we have another Ender Drone and the Ender Princess. And it looks like we just recycle these through. And I have heard of frames. Do we need to make proven frames? How do we even make proven frames? Oh, I suppose we have to buy them. What about impregnated frames? Those don't look too bad, so maybe we come back with those. We might just chunk load this area. Let the bees do what they do. I think there's a little tricky way of inserting an extract and enabling self-feed, so this will just run for a while. And we'll be back with some frames. So I'm back with some impregnated frames. Hopefully that does something. But this takes a long time, so we'll definitely be here with a time and a bottle for a while. And I'll be back once we have a bunch of these mysterious combs. And here's going to be the mass production facility here. We have a bunch of pristine Ender Princesses, which means they will never die, I think. And we'll just start to insert these, get them all running. And the way we have this set up is that we have extraction always on with self-feed enabled, and the priority of all the inserts back into the hives are higher than into the chest. So everything will be priority insert back into the apiary, and as long as we enable insert onto the chests, we should see mysterious combs get extracted into our applied energistic system through an ender chest. And this is just going to keep running forever, and excess drones will come into our system, which we can use for liquid DNA for other things. But we've just got to make sure we have insertion into the chests, as I've definitely forgotten to click that, and there we are. So now if we wait here long enough, we should see some mysterious combs coming through, and we can just put these ender drones away, screw the frames, the scoop doesn't matter. And then at home, we'll give an export bus to mysterious combs into a centrifuge, and then we'll just extract back into an interface. We'll connect with a bit of a smart cable, see if this works, and then the centrifuge can just go around and do what it needs to. And I just saw one come in, so this works perfectly. And as long as we just get some pulsating meshes out of this, this has been a great success. Let's just send those through. We're also going to get honey drops. Suppose we can use the sugar. But the pulsating mesh has been automated, and now we can start tackling the rest of this nonsense. Alrighty, so let's figure out how much of the stuff left we need for our resonant cell frames, and also a cheeky way on automating the crafting core. So I think I'm going to use packaged auto for this, and this is a really, really useful tool that I really only have just discovered. Basically, we have more than 9 items, so the regular terminal can't handle this. What we can do is we can set this into a packaged auto recipe, and we can see that it's going to send everything out, and we can click save. So you need a packaged recipe encoder, and now we've encoded a recipe onto this holder. We then want to put this into a packager, and we also want to save that to another package recipe holder. We want to place this anywhere on our network, and I believe we'll just place it here, wait for it to get a channel. For the moment, we'll just give it a chest to output into, but then all we need to do is place the unpackager recipe into this chest. And now if we look for the frame, we can actually see the resonant cell frame, even though we haven't set a pattern for the other items. Or we haven't set a pattern through the applied energistics pattern provider. And so if we try and request it, we'll see what we're missing. And indeed, what we're missing is our dense steel plates, our moonstones, lapotron crystals, ender electron tubes, pulsating meshes, and reactor frames, as well as infused diamonds. I think we're also probably missing our resonant cell frames, which are going to need automation of the thermionic fabricator, which will be lumium glass, ender casings, signalum frames, mana dust, and hardened enderium glass. And mana dust is going to need some creative amounts of automation, I think. But for now, maybe we just manually craft it. So I'm going to set some recipes and get back to you when we can finally request. Okay, so another horrifying mess has been created, but what we have created is a system to automatically do extended crafting. And it is almost like our assembly line automation in GregTech. So let me explain this mess. Don't worry about this first setup underneath. This is for our unpacker. Eventually we'll use this, but for now, we need to automate a bunch of recipes that are usually made in the Empowerer. There is a lot of these, but we're not going to be doing all of them because some of them are just different variants of basalt. So right now we are making our hardened cell frames. Now these have 5 ingredients and the energy cell frame needs to be placed in the middle in every single time. I'm sure fusion crafting automation is easier, but this is what we're doing here for now for extended crafting. We send the recipe from this interface into a P2P, which then tries to send the items into an interface. And because the only valid storage positions on this network are these storage buses, it tries to insert into the storage buses. We've also got blocking mode enabled on this interface, so it only pushes one recipe at a time, as you can see. And originally I was doing the priority setup for the storage bus on the middle, but I have had to filter it as well. So you need a high priority and a filter, which will guarantee that the middle item, assuming that in your recipe it is the first item, will then get placed on the middle, and then the others get placed onto the other pedestals. And then we just have a conduit extracting, and it is also filtered. So this has allowed us now to automate all of the frames, including a really shoddy automation with the regular thermionic fabricator, to allow us to see finally what we're missing outside of funky automations, and it is the reactor frame, the Moonstone, the pulsating mesh. We no longer need electron tubes, but we do need our enderium gear as well. So the reactor frame is as simple as steel casings with our atomic alloy, which we can already make. So that's checked off. Pulsating mesh, just the pulsating propolis. Lapatrons, a little bit challenging. I'm not sure that we are going to be able to automate these because the energy crystals might be a little bit funky here. We just need to compress Energium dust, and we just need to be able to craft Energium dust. And that should allow us to automate the Lapatron crystals. Now, Moonstones are a little bit more complicated. We'll get to those. But dense steel plates are super, super easy. Alright, so I am beyond annoyed at the Lapatron crystal recipe not actually working. I think there is a way to change the Lapatron crystal that it's using to the one that we have set, but it doesn't matter at the moment because we need to figure out Moonstones. And Lunar Reactive Dust needs a resonator. So Lunar Reactive Dust is just lapis in a resonator. Now hopefully this works. Let's just find out. It did indeed insert and is not extracting until it'll be ready. So we just need to speed this up and then we'll be fine. And now unstable ingots or stable unstable ingots, but not too bad for us at the moment. All we need to do is iron, nugget, stick, and diamond to make the stable unstable nuggets. Then we can craft these up into stable unstable ingots and then craft the Moonstone. We're also going to take our packager, and in this recipe we are going to see if we can... Oop, that's 10. We need this to 1, and I hope that this is going to work, but if it doesn't, well, we'll just have to do this manually, or I'll remove the Lapatron crystal from the recipe. So now we place 1 back in our packager. We'll place it in the unpacker. Recipes into the terminal. And let's see if we can request it. And wow, it looks like we finally can request everything in the recipe. Let's just see what it does. Well, it has unpacked it in the unpacker, but it hasn't sent it to the interface. So I'm not entirely certain what to do here, but I'll figure that out. Alrighty, so I do realize that I have all given you a bit of a complicated way of doing this. It's probably a bit easier if we just ran this interface into another interface into those channels. So it doesn't have to be as complicated as I've made it seem. I always go for the overcomplication, but that's basically what we've done here. The unpackager unpacks it into a P2P, which acts like a chest. and then deposits all of that into the interface, and it actually works with blocking mode. It's fantastic. But I have everything here ready for the fusion crafting core because I want to do it manually. We're just missing one nether star. So with all the items assembled, let's start getting it together. So our extended crafting core goes in the middle, and then we just get to place everything else around it. And now the spoils of our labor. God, that little ding is such a dopamine hit, isn't it? Right, so let's try out this infusion. I have no idea how it's supposed to work, but it seems that we just put some funny things on the side and we can get jump boost. So we put our boots in the middle, put two... Wow, that just put a stack of golden apples in it. I'm sure it needs to be in 2 bits. And then our draconic cores, and then jump boost. And, oh, look, the recipe worked. We just press start. Well, that was certainly interesting. And now we have our boots enchanted effectively with jump boost. Well, let's see how much that boost is. Oh, that's right. We'll probably have to up... There we go. Now we can allow 200% jump. Oh, that's cool. All right. Well, I'm going to get to upgrading my armor, and then we'll see what we need to do next. So I was considering continuing Draconic Evolution, but I think let's take a little side step to tie up some loose ends. I have seriously been neglecting the magic room in here, and especially Botania. We do want to continue our way on to making the Master Infusion Crystal. And these are going to take some funky little runes here called the Rune of Sloth, Pride, Gluttony, and Greed. I think they're called sinful runes. But we do need to figure out how to make these. And I believe they're made on the runic altar. So let's craft that up. Hit it with the resonating wand. God, this is taking a while. Finally. Goodness gracious. And a quest. So it looks like the Rune of Sloth, for instance, is going to take 2 mana diamonds and some other runes. So we do need to make the Rune of Air and the Rune of Autumn, which is some other random stuff. Rune of Autumn takes Rune of Air and Fire, which takes some assorted stuff. And it looks like there are absolutely no quests for this. That's fantastic. So I'm just going to spam crafting all the runes that I can, and I'll get back to you when I have an entire inventory worth of them. Alright, basic runes are all complete. Now on to the seasons. We have our seasonal runes now, winter, spring, summer, and autumn. And there we have all of the miserable runes crafted. It doesn't take a lot of time to do this. It's super simple, but it's actually just awful. And now we need to do is upgrade Astral Sorcery so we can actually make the Master Infusion Stone, even though it doesn't really have much use for us. So first we actually need to make the Starlight Crafting Altar, which we can just take a bucket of Starlight, slap together some Niter, marble, and a rock crystal, bonk it with the wand, and there we go. And it's actually upgraded the altar here. And it looks like we can finally craft a lot of our mystical agriculture seeds here. Mystical flower seeds, inferium seeds, nether seeds. That's pretty awesome. But we're not looking for the seeds right now. We're looking for the celestial altar, which is going to need a rabbit hole into Thorncraft and blood magic. So that's probably the point where we will stop the episode and do that next time, because I am not rushing magic mods. So thank you all for watching this kind of a bit scatterbrained episode when it comes down to it. We did unlock all of our Wyvern armor and tools, figured out how to fusion craft them and make them better, and we committed what can only be described as the ultimate sin against the combination crafter. I want to give a huge shout out to Timbo and Danish for their continued support of the channel. If you want to do the same, there is a join button down below. Every little bit helps. There's also the usual algorithm stuff that you can do for me, like liking and subscribing. But with that all out of the way, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.